a day of rest from the seventh day of creation. 6 days for labor, the seventh we seize, a foreshadow of the kingdom where joy will increase. The gates will open when that day arrives. Eternal Shabbat, where forever we thrive. God the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, no worldly ways. The covenant is true. To Yahuwah we pray. From sunrise to sunset, a sign forever. For Yahusha, this day is a treasure. The Naviim warn, do not turn away. The Shabbat is Kadash, keep it Yahuwah's way. Yahusha King, the Adon of rest, showed us the path that is pure and best. From one Shabbat to another we'll sing in the city of light with our eternal King. No toil, no tears, no shadow, no fight, only the joy of his endless light. Guard the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, no worldly ways. The covenant is true. To Yahuwah we pray. From sunrise to sunset, a sign forever. For Yahusha, this day is a treasure. This day is the pledge of the world to come, when the reign of Yahuwah has fully begun. The river will flow, the tree will stand, life everlasting in the promised land. Every voice will rise, every knee will bend in the Shabbat of Yahuwah that will never end. We wait for the trumpet, we keep the sign, our hearts in rhythm with Yahuwah's design. We guard this day till the kingdom appears, the eternal Shabbat through unending years. In all this, his love fully shown, Yahuwah's rest will be our home. Guard the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, no worldly ways. The covenant is true. To Yahuwah we pray. From sunrise to sunset, a sign forever. For Yahusha, this day is a treasure. So I set my face to Yahuwah, Aluah, seeking by prayer and plea, with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. I bowed on bended knee, and I prayed to Yahuwah, my Yahuwah. compassion and insight. Oh Yahuwah, great and awesome, who keeps covenant to those who obey. We have transgressed, we have done crookedly, acted wicked in your sight. We have turned from your commands and refused to walk aright. We did not listen to your servants, the Nabim you did send to speak to our kings and fathers, that we might turn and mend. To you, oh Yahuwah, belongs righteousness, to us belongs open shame. To the men of Yahudah and Yasharah, who bear a tarnished name, to all scattered near and far, whom you have driven away because of transgression against you, for we would not obey. To Yahuwah belongs compassion to forgive. Though we have rebelled against you, and in our wrong did live, from your Torah we have turned, not heeding what was decreed, spoken by your servants, the Nabim, who warned us of our need. All Yasher, all has transgressed, turned aside to disobey, and on us has been poured the curse, as written in Mashiach's way. You have confirmed your word against us, as judgment you have planned. For under all the shame of ye, none like this has struck a land. Yet in all this evil coming, we did not seek Yahuwah's face, to turn from transgression and understand, to follow his ways.
Ask and you will give, seek and you will find. There's nothing better than the living God. There's nothing better than the living God. Ask and you will give, seek and you will find. There's nothing better than the living God. There's nothing better.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to THC. We're Mark and Kim. We're so glad that you could join us today here on the broadcast. We are in the discoveries of Matthew's Gospel, chapter 23, where Yahusha, he actually deals with the preachers, basically the scribes, the Pharisees, and the people on whom the promises were made to. We went back as far as Isaiah 58 to look at really the commandments of YAHUAH. And this is very important because this is part of, entering into the promises that Yahusha talked about prior to his departure and his next return. And so what is he going to be looking for when he returns on the earth? Well, a lot of times in Christianity or in religion, people get mixed up between these human rituals that they believe is right to do. But where do those rituals come from? Well, we can find out and we can track back and trace back where those rituals come from in these contents of the book of Matthew 23. So we can actually see back in the future, or basically in the past, of how this corruption entered in, and not only that corruption of what really actually was taking place and what Yahusha was talking about, but even today's corruption by what he said, meaning the value of his names and the commandments that YAHUAH wanted us to do. All of it has been unfortunately erased and has become the traditions of men that is the qualifier to get into heaven, in which they make the scriptures appear to be that way, but it's been totally incorrect. So what's happening today? Everybody's waking up today. That's what we see. There's an awakening of individuals like you yourself. You're waking up to the truth, and now you know. That little voice that's on the side of you, it's called the Ruach, and it is waking up the sons and daughters of YAHUAH. So welcome today. Buckle up. Get a notepad. You're going to need it because we're going to take a deeper dive in just a few scriptures. And this today is going to be something you're going to sink your teeth in. So welcome to the program today.
Well, good morning, guys. And like Mark said, welcome. And those that are new that are tuning in, welcome. And thank you for tuning here at the house campus where YAHUAH rules and reigns and do what he needs to do concerning his will for our life. And I'm so excited that as we approach into the book of Matthew 23, for the last two, Sundays, I believe, we have dove in and to get more clarity of how the commandments are portrayed and how they are focused on what you are to do. And it is beautiful and I love it. And as Mark said, get your notepad and your Bible for those that are new, and those that have been committed, thank you. And don't forget to get your basura and get it ready because we're getting ready to start. Last Sunday, we were on for two hours, and we could have kept going. So we don't know what's going to happen today, but we do know this: it's always going to be about YAHUAH and what he feels we need to embrace and hear. So that's all I know. With that, honey, what do you want to open up with? Do you want to fall back a little bit on Exodus 20 and then bring us into, or do you want to start exactly so I know what to do?
I think that we went somewhere where he said the word chisel. Mm-hmm. What was that, kid?
That was in Exodus.
Okay.
I have the
scripture for the word chisel.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys remember, I just came to mind.
Well, in the scripture of Exodus 20, it states the chisel. So we last week opened up that word chisel, and we're going to give you those definitions.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Definition. We're going to start there.
Yeah, so let's start with the definition.
And again, for those of you that weren't here, this word chisel that the Father used back then, it simply meant do not and this goes against everything we learn, you know.
Everything we
Do
learn.
not go out and chisel a building, or just use the word chisel. He didn't point to what, but what the chisel's for.
Right.
Don't use chisel against stone, metal, wood, concrete. He broke that down
Concerning him.
concerning him.
Right.
All right? And his altar. Okay? And then turn around and swear on this altar that he's the one that said to do all this. When in reality, he didn't. He says it's basically an insult to believe that that is his house. It's not. This is what the problem is today. And he always wanted his place to be a place where he chose and he selected
On his timing.
on his timing his presence. And he says, wherever my name is at and where it's recalled. Now, this is very important, or where it's remembered. His exact words, the Father's words, were there would be assemblies, there would be groups that he would decide, where he would decide, wherever he would decide throughout the world. That is going to be based on his perfect choosing and his choosing only. And he will cause a group of people. That would be the sign. And he would have a teacher in those days. That would be the sign. And it's at all one time that they all, whether it's the teacher, whether it's the people listening, they're entering into a subject that they all can just practically just go, everybody just full of crap. That's pretty much what you can do. That's what it's like. But what happens is something happens between the teachers, the listeners, because some of those listeners are very knowledgeable of the word, and some of those listeners are not. And so there's a lot of things that are moving there that either will just come to a full stop, or there will be, everybody would wake up at one time. Boom. And when that happened, YAHUAH said, I'm the one that caused that. Not the listener, not the teacher. I am the one that caused that, because I'm going to cause them to remember my name. And that happens, it's not planned, not like that way. It just all comes together and boom. And then all suddenly, it happens. And he says, wherever a place happens like that, he goes, that's where my name is at.
Now, I'm going to get rid of them cows, because as you described, where did his name come at? They still focus, not you guys, but them crazy folks think it's the building.
Right, it's not the building.
It is not the building, because again, he describes what he do not want and where he does not want his name to be. And the description is, it is so beautiful, because you can't deny what he stated. That's why he listed in those commands what to do and what not to do. And let's just put up, as you were describing.
Well, here, let me read it. It's in the Basura. Okay, and it says here in verse 24, he says, make an altar or place of the earth, altarets of me, and you shall slaughter your burnt offerings and your peace offerings and your sheep and your cattle. He says, in every place, now listen to this, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. Well, that sure the heck ain't Jesus. Right? That sure the heck ain't the names that we hear in Muhammad's language or Hinduism or anything. He said, wherever place I cause my name to remember, I shall come to you and favor you. Bless you. And if you make an altar of stone, this means you carved it out yourself. You had it made. You fabricated. But the modern day people say, well, you know, that was back in those days. They couldn't have no fabrication. That's a lie.
Yeah.
Go look at the buildings that they built. You can't even build those today. If they want to make an altar,
we're not gonna give them no.
We ain't
excuse,
gonna give them no excuse. We can't even do.
He said what he said.
He said what he said.
And he meant what he said.
And he meant what he said. He goes, and if you have profaned it, profaned it, that means that you disregard, it's like profanity. It's like you stick it out there. And he says, nor do you go up by the steps. Well, they got steps. At least your nakedness will be exposed on it. And so he's saying, if you carve something out, I'm not interested. That's not where I'm going. He says, I'm going to go where I put my name at. And everybody thought, well, you know, they got to take the name. They got this Jesus name. They got this God name. And so since they said it, that was the location. But Yah right now is coming back and revealing his name to people. And now the name that's being revealed, the people know. Everybody now knows. Now you know that it's so beautiful because now you know, like, wait a minute. Then what are those other locations? That was the perfect plan. Y'all sits back and goes, look, now you know. If that's not my name, then who put a chisel to that? The man did. Man put the chisel to it. Man did it. Man created the stair. Everything he said that not to do, they did it. And then they justified it. Well, going back to the beginning, that was in Exodus. Yeshua said, I will come to fulfill what my Father sent me to do. So that what I just read, Yeshua opens that up in its entirety in Matthew 23. And yet, the modern day church today, the building church, still avoids what took place back in Exodus 20, in which Yeshua was talking about.
Which they don't even have respect for anyway, because again,
they don't have respect for Yahusha. They only have respect for the Jesus they made.
Because
they made their own image of who Yahusha was, and he's not even anything like that. He's actually, there's no even similarities. Jesus and Yahusha are completely two different. Completely are two different. The things that this Jesus person accepts is not what Yahusha accepts. The way that Yahusha approaches it is way different than Jesus approaches it.
Jesus don't even approach
because it's Lucifer's side. There's a under Jesus there's that the lying part, the stealing part, because he's under that. You got to see that side because there's just two sides. Over here on Yahusha's side, they're two different. There's completely can't even be compared to.
Even though it states he wants to be like. He will never
be like. That was his confession.
Yeah, that was his confession.
That wasn't Yahusha. Yahusha never said he would be like me. He just said he's a master at deceiving.
He's good at what he does.
He's good at what he does.
He's good at what my Father called him he is. He's a
liar, a thief,
and a murderer.
Period. And that's what he's good.
He destroys everything he touches.
Wait a minute. I don't even want to say he's good at it. You know why? Because Yahusha never said he was good at it. No, he just said he's a liar.
Right.
It didn't say he was good at it. It didn't say he was bad at it. He's just a liar. He's a thief. He didn't say, he didn't even call him a good thief. He didn't call him a top thief. Like he was a really good thief. No, he's a thief. And he's a murderer.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
So whatever he comes out with in your face, he ain't got nothing to give. He has nothing. He deludes his own self. Yeah. He's in this delusional state he's like the Most High. He is in a state where he really believes he's like the Most High. And since he's like the Most High, he's going to create his own. He's going to create his own Yeshua by just using a name. He think using a name and trying to steal a body is going to make him in this position of being just like.
But it's funny because if you just really think about it, he says, I will be like the Most High. So the Christians teach he's like the Most High. And Yahusha or the Father never said he's like, that's like somebody walking in my kitchen and say, I'm going to cook some collard greens like you. Well, you can say that all you want to. You is not going to be cooking no collard greens like me. I don't care who you are. Right. Right? That's like somebody saying that they can match whatever you created.
Right.
I'm going to do it just like you. like I like to paint, right?
Good,
so
good,
it's
good,
an example,
Yeah.
I like to paint.
Yeah.
Anybody likes to paint, whatever.
Right.
Somebody walking into your house saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do it just like you." How is that? There's no need. There's no need to even respond.
This is how masterful he is. Okay, he don't want to be called a liar, so now they got the new word narcissist.
Yeah.
So they play on words. So a narcissist, which is truly a liar, that's what it is. Just they now have a medical term for it called narcissist, but it's just a liar. And then you have those that are murderers, which they then say they have mental problems,
mental illness,
right? And then you got all these play of words, but they still operate in the three. They can't come out of what they have been called to be, and that's what's the part that is so masterful at what he do, because he plays on words. Because once he gets you to play on the word, then he just lets you flow. Because now you using your own skill set. You're using they're using their own will. They're doing all these things, and that's how that name Jesus got to where it got today. Because all he did was stick it out there in a book, and in a book they read, and then they never even figured out, well, how did it come from this to that? They never even thought to even seek out. They just said, oh, it is, okay. And they kept going. And then here they did. They passed it down from generation to generation. And he never even enforced it. He just put it out there. Just like he did with Yeshua. When he was on the mountain, he tried to put it out there to see if Yeshua would bite. And Yeshua said, go sit down somewhere. So today, as we get into the book of Matthew, and we got we ended in verse 15. But we might go back a little bit. But when you see yourself and you start understanding the plot and the plan out on how this joker really functions, all you could do is just sit back and watch YAHUAH play him like a fiddle. Because at the end of the day, he's clueless. He himself is clueless. So I am just so thankful that we need to go ahead and get into where Matthew. How far back you want to go, dear? Do you want to start at Matthew 23, verse 15, or do you want to go back a few verses?
Let's go to Matthew. We're going to go to Matthew's, and I'm again pose a question, which was, why did Rome spend so much time trying to get rid of Yahuwah's name or Yahusha's name? And so in Matthew 23, this is the head. This is the buttoned heads of this is where your church comes from. So pay attention to it, because remember, Lucifer is a master deceiver, okay? And so he wants you to have anger, disappointment against traditional church. That was never supposed to be, but now watch it, because he is clever. He knows that there are still spiritual laws. And even though you hear the word church, you got to laugh now. Not get angry, not get bitter, and not get off the track what YAHUAH had in play before the earth was here. So before the earth was here, there was already the Shabbat, or the day of rest. Before the earth was even here, there was always giving and receiving. You know, that all those areas to honor came out of heaven. They didn't begin in the second earth age, which we're in. So these things were there already, and Yahusha came to fulfill it, because and he gave us the clue: whatever has already been done,
that's right,
in heaven, it's going to now be done on earth. So this is the clue. But the man's traditional churches, they came in and did what to it? They stole, right?
They lied.
They lied.
And they murdered.
And they murdered. And
they did murder. They did.
Right. Yeah. You tear up things.
Their rituals that they don't talk about that took place through the Roman.
Yeah, through the
system,
Roman system.
That is now considered high society, as they call it.
Yeah.
so
that you have that in 321 and 329, around there, where Constantine comes in, and and it's just still perfect timing. I don't think it's really bad that all took place, because Yah's word is always final authority. So Yah already picked him already out and gave a date and a time and everything where he's gonna, where it all comes back to his ways anyway.
Right.
So, but in the process, you and I are here as the last generation. And the last generation kind of needs to connect there to understand what's at stake. If you were sitting there today, right there where you're at, and you say, I want to experience this inheritance of Jacob. The only way to get there is through his name and through his commandments. So today, look at what we were tainted with, all of us. What stopped it? It all goes back to Constantine. And Constantine's current church today is implementing it, called the Christian church. The forehand, the right hand. This is why it says the beast will have it in his right hand. The hand is the one that strengthens Lucifer's deception through identity theft. Then, how does he become stronger? Through you. Meaning, hold on, anger. I don't want to do that no more. I don't want to do this no more. I'm not going to do that no more. The avoidance of it. Oh, I got the name, but yeah, we still gotta, you can't just have the name and avoid what YAHUAH put in place. You see what I mean? You know, you can't avoid.
That's right.
Because the avoidance is what Lucifer is depending on.
Right.
Because you can't experience
because
the
if you
blessings.
avoid, then he could put you in fear, and that fear will ignite you to stay in the system that he is planting around the world.
Okay.
So.
All right. So, in saying that, let's get to, I'm just going to start at verse 15.
15, okay.
Okay, we are in, those of you just now tuning in, we're getting ready to go to Matthew 23. We've been talking about for the last couple months, really. The commandments of YAHUAH, which absolutely is a father's letter that shows us how to understand it. We're not reading tradition like you would normally do in a Christian church, which is take out scriptures and pop them all over the place. No, you go chapter by chapter, verse by verse. You got to understand the subject matter. Well, there's a subject here that in the beginning of Matthew 24 that Yeshua is dealing with the preachers. And this is what we're dealing with today. And it affects us because we are the generation that shall see all these things come to pass according to Matthew 24. So we want to watch what is our role as sons of YAHUAH that have woken up. As the scripture has said, all creation is waiting. Let's take a look. Follow us along. Matthew 23, we're reading from the Besorah, and we're going to start at verse 15. Let's go. All right. So it says here, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. And here we are here because, and he's speaking to them as they are part of his teaching. His students are there. Those that follow him are there. So make no mistake about it. He is one group of people's on one side of him, as say the left side is these scribes and Pharisees and what have you. Then all his students are on his right side. So they're both in the same location. And he says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. Now that kind of would make preachers mad, if they were sitting there. And then he says, hypocrites. He goes, now watch what his definition in this setting is, a hypocrite. Because you go about the land in the sea to win one convert. So what does that sound like?
Today?
Yeah, it sounds like today. You go across the waters, okay? You go across the waters, you go across the city to win one convert. He's not talking to his students. He's talking about them.
That's right.
He goes, you're trying to go anywhere to go hunt down a soul. Because it talks about the hunting of souls in Ezekiel 13, that Yahuwah doesn't like it. But we're told opposite. He that wins souls is wise, because they pull that one quote.
Right.
They don't understand the subject matter. So again, here we see it here. He says, and when it is won, you make him the son of Ghanaan, 2/4 more than yourselves. Basically, you make him more evil than you are. So why? Let's just 2 minutes here. How does it go from the gospel? Okay, right? How does it go from to a preacher that supposed to have this loving message, right? That's how they tell you all your problems and give you the guilt trip.
Yeah, their presentation.
They give their presentation of their Jesus, because they're not describing Yahusha. They're describing who Jesus is, which is fall down, bow down, worship me, give me your life, give me your family. It's Bel, right? So they describe Bel in a picture of this word Jesus, who somehow Jesus gives you salvation, but it's really Bel. And so they paint that picture. The family, or the father, the mother gives over, and then her kids get consumed in that environment, right? And it literally says, Yeshua literally says, that these guys, even though they're reading the scripture, the people they go out and convert,
You make it worse than you were.
How is that? How is that? How is that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They come out worse than you.
Yourself. Twofold. That's deep.
That's deep. So everybody that's out there using that name, if they don't come out under, if Yahuwah doesn't speak to them, now Yahuwah can't speak to a person who has a closed heart.
Right.
Because the entry of light requires an open heart to believe, as a grain of mustard seed. That, like you guys would say, something was wrong, right? They would say, people would say, like, something was wrong. I don't know what something was wrong. And when they heard the name Yahuwah, they came alive because their heart was right. And Yahuwah breathed on you, and that's the only way that you remembered his name. How did you remember? What are you remembering? From the first earth age. The time we were already in heaven, you can hear that. You can still hear truth because of that first earth age. And man can't stop it. The building can't stop it.
Right.
So Yeshua's sitting here talking to these preachers, and he's saying, look, man, you go out and convert one guy. The guy come back, he's more jacked up than you. Okay, let's keep going. All right. Verse 16, he says, woe to you. And then he says, and then he called him blind guides. So those are, they're hypocrites and they're blind guides. He goes, who say, whoever swears by the Michigan, okay, I don't even know, this word here means temple, okay? He says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You swear by this building, it doesn't matter. And whoever swears by now watch how he uses these terms. And you guys, you got to really catch them. This is where Yahusha just chops them up. He says, and whoever swears by the gold of the temple, the Mashikan, if you will, is bound by an oath. Now, you gonna swear by the gold of what's inside the temple. And he goes, fools and blind, for which is greater, the gold or the temple that sets the gold apart? Okay, let's stop right there. So which, now that everybody knows, okay, so which is greater, the gold or the temple? Now he's looking at them as they're looking at a building.
Right.
But what he's talking about is this.
Right.
Because your body's the temple. But he said, which is greater? Because they looking at the building.
Right.
He goes, and he speaks to him. He says, which is better, the gold or the temple? Yeah, he got him right here. He got him right here. And then he says, he goes, that sets the gold apart. What can set the gold apart? The only thing that can supersede the gold is the temple. But check this out. What is it? So now what temple do they think he's talking about? He goes, and whoever swears by the altar and does not matter, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by the oath. He cutting them up. Mm-hmm. He's saying, listen to this. And whoever swears by the altar, okay, so the altar that they built, right? Mm-hmm. And so Yahusha is talking about the altar where YAHUAH is at. Watch this. And whoever swears by the gift that's on it, who's the gift? He's the gift, right? He's the gift that can go into the temple. What temple is he talking about? In you. Watch this. So he says the gift that is on it is bound by the oath. So whatever promises are made about the gift entering into the temple is bound by that oath. So if you choose the wrong, do I need to go there? If you choose the wrong deity, mighty one,
altar,
on the altar.
No, you gotta clear it. We gotta make it clear because I just have this feeling that they're gonna.
Okay, so let me keep going. Going. I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna read through this, you guys. Just follow me for a second here, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Verse 19. He goes, fools and the blind, for which is greater, the gift or the altar? The gift or the altar. Now, he's talking to them in one way, which is they understand it monetarily. He's speaking to you as a child of YAHUAH spiritually. The gift, referring to him, or the altar that it's set on, sets on the gift apart. In other words, it sets the gift apart. So in other words, the altar that sets it apart, right, is a place where his name is at. Okay? And then he says in verse 20, and he then who swears by the altar swears by it and by all that is up on it. So whoever swears by the altar, where the only qualified altar is where his name is at. Remember? That's where his altar is at. Okay? And they have their altar. Verse 21, and he who swears by the temple, okay, they got a temple, he's got a temple, swears by it and by him who was dwelling in on it. So what temple and who's swearing by the temple? Okay, pay attention. And he who swears by heaven, the Shahamim, swears by the throne of Elohim and by him who's sitting upon it. Now, he tells them all this to say this. Woe to you, you preachers, you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites again, because you tithe the mint and the anise and the cumin, and you have neglected the weightier things of the Torah. Okay, you neglect it. What things of the Torah? We'll talk about that. The lawfulness and the compassion and the belief. Mm-hmm. And here's where we need to stop at the very end of this verse to summarize verse 15 through this verse. These need to have been done without neglecting the others. So now there's a lot of meat in here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is when Yahusha hits them on top of the head. And when I heard this taught many years ago, just confusion rang out. Okay? But it's real simple. The temple is your body. The gift is Yahusha. The altar is the place where he called his name to be remembered. All those three, the Pharisees or the preachers, they had their own. Yeshua was talking about all those three in reference to him and the sons of YAHUAH. So he gave two illustrations in one statement. And then he says, but on your side, preacher, what you did is that you violated the most important thing. Is that you took it, put it in the building, and basically disobeyed my instructions. And he says, these things you should have already done. You should have already, you swearing, you using names, right? But you making people swear by a different name. You should have already done that. But instead, you was worried about the money. Watch this. Let me read it again. the last verse. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you tithe, okay, and you have neglected the heavier things, the things that are more important. Now, what did they neglect? What did they neglect? The name. Okay, you neglected my name. You neglected my day of rest. So they neglected that. The preachers did that. You neglected the way what a temple is. You made it this. I didn't make it this. You walk up the stairs. You neglected the more important things of what he says here, the Torah. Okay? And then he tells you what it is, the lawfulness and the compassion and the belief. The lawfulness, the compassion and the belief, dealing with his name, the Shabbat, if you will, and all the things that he listed with his finger. So Yeshua is telling them, everything that my father told Moses to do, you've neglected it.
Yeah, you neglected it.
But you act like
You ain't.
yeah, you're not, and you act like you're tithing. These things you should have already done, but you neglected the most important thing, which was the honoring of what Yahusha had originally came for. I come to fulfill this. But they created their own altar. So now when the people tithe, they don't get nothing's coming from Jacob's inheritance. You make their compassion based on you being a hypocrite. Remember he said hypocrite twice. So what are they a hypocrite about? They're basically telling people to follow the Bible, but follow the Bible under another deity, under that name, under that title, and do these things, do these rituals, but we'll include the tithe. We'll include the tithe and we'll do that. And Yeshua said, well, you should do the tithe, but you've neglected this over here. Yeah, they should do the tithe, they should do it, but you've neglected what? Wherever I place my name at. You ain't told them that yet. You put a name there, then you used the tithe for them to put their tithe into, and then now the people
Right. What you did is you built with a chisel, a place, an altar that was instructed what not to do. One, that's basically what he said the first round. The first he described what they did wrong. Then he turned around and said, then they trying to, I guess, justify, well, yeah, we did that. We built the altar. We're doing the tithe. But when Yeshua comes back and says, but you neglected to follow the instruction of the command, which was don't build anything that consumes an altar that was not of my name.
Right.
And they keep building these
places
all around and saying that's where he is at.
Right.
And he's saying you are teaching them to do the opposite of what was commanded them to do. And not only that, then you telling them a name that they ain't even supposed to be using.
They're worshiping another name.
Yeah.
They're doing all these rituals.
Right.
But you're still using what Moses taught.
The
You're
format of
you're
what,
using the format.
yes.
But you're worshiping Baal, right? You're still collecting the tithe, and then you're telling them that a name is in this place and my name is not even there. And the evidence that you're doing this is that everybody you convert, they're more of a devil than you.
Yeah.
So it's not working what you're doing, but you blind them.
Right.
Now, the next 4 verses tells us exactly how they end up. Now watch this. You guys see this, guys. So hopefully you guys are getting that. Are you understanding what we're talking about? Listen, in the beginning, Yahusha starts talking about his. Now imagine, okay, the students sitting there listening. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Damn, you see what's his name?" Mm-hmm. Hey man, look at John's face over there. Mm-hmm. Look at that dude's face over there. Mm-hmm. Like, man,
they know they
like they looking over there going, mm-hmm. Right? They got busted. Mm-hmm. He called them hypocrites twice. Mm-hmm.
John and them looking, talking like they getting in.
Like me and you would be like, you see that? You hear that? Like, ooh, they get torn up right now.
He's talking in what he says in parables. So it's even worse that
don't let him get in the parables because he's not. He that's his hot way because he'll talk normal. Yeah. But when you see the parable come out, it's because there's somebody. Look,
right now it's a parable.
You know, let me give you guys a parable in 2025. So the parable is that when I look at my daughter and I said, and we see something wrong, I said, mm-hmm.
And there's a whole conversation that
you know, right? Mm-hmm. There's a parable in that,
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this at the table right now. That's all I'm saying, right? And so there's language.
All right, let me say this to you. All I know is that,
yeah.
Because that's the parable.
That's the parable when you around your people.
Yeah.
So when Yeshua is around his people, right? Mm-hmm. He got his students there, and he's intentionally only talking this way to teach them.
Right.
That's what he's doing. He like, you Pharisees and scared. Look, y'all can't touch us. Y'all can't touch us. You a bunch of hypocrites, man. Yeah. And here's the thing: he called them hypocrites twice. Why would they still sit there?
Right.
You're like, look, this is how y'all acting. Okay, she's over there. Yeah, you know. Mm-hmm. And so now I wanted to read the whole thing through again, but we don't have the time. I want to do that. I want to get focused on the next 4 verses. Mm-hmm. So he says, without neglecting the others. Let me go over this again real quick towards verse 23. He says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, because you tithe the mint and do that, but you've neglected the more important things of the Torah. Now, why was the more important things considered Torah? Because the signature of YAHUAH is the foundation to life. Mm-hmm. You have to understand that. And so what they did is that they made the request after that. The tithe was never part of YAHUAH's law, so to speak, right? Because it wasn't in what his signature did, but it was already a rule that was in heaven. So it's not just here; it was in heaven, right? But the characteristics and the fruit of a son of YAHUAH will be in those 10. He would always have these patterns, and then he would automatically, by default, want to honor his father. So the Pharisees came out with the demand of this tithe because I'm in this position.
Yeah.
And this name LORD and this name JC, this is where you put your tithe and then he'll give you some money, he'll give you these things. And that's not true, because he broke it out and said, whatever I put my name out, which the Jew hated because YAHUAH never put his name there. And so okay, go ahead.
No, because they were trying to tie the tithe to a name, to the name.
To the name.
But the tithe was tied to what you needed to do.
Right.
It wasn't tied to the name. It was just part of what you needed to do.
That's good.
Yeah. What Yeshua was saying is that you're taking and making them tithe to a name and an altar that ain't even that. You got it all backwards.
You got it all backwards. Right.
Yes, you're supposed to do these things.
You're supposed to do these things.
Yeah.
Right.
But you ain't doing these things based on a name, my father's name. That's not what you're doing.
That's beautiful.
And YAHUAH, when he instructed Moses, it wasn't about the name at the time. That was what you needed to do because of what I did.
Right.
That's the difference. That's the difference that we get confused on. Or when people say the tithe is over, the tithe is never over because he brought you out. When he brings, he set the order of because of what he did and what is done in heaven. So when he brought them out, he made a verbal agreement first. Go talk to them and tell them these things.
Right. That's not.
And if they agree, then I'm gonna put it in writing this time.
I'm gonna put it in writing.
Because verbally it ain't connected.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it in writing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come see that fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in writing.
And put it in writing.
These are the top ones that.
And he listed all the things.
He listed all the things.
And the beautiful thing is the reason why he listed about the mother and the father.
Yeah.
Because of what took place in heaven.
Right.
Don't get me started.
Right.
So the mother and the father, you keep going down, and then now he's going to talk about, well, since now you guys we come together now we're going to have these feasts, and in the midst of the feast, you're going to be able to tithe or give your offering.
That was and so all of that first.
It still ain't talked about his name yet.
Right.
The name didn't come until the end, and when they began to talk about that building and the chisel.
Yeah. So he put the two things together towards the end of that and this is the part that we don't see written a lot, talked about in Christianity.
That's right.
They'll print the 10 Commandments and give it to the Sunday school.
Right.
But that's not what when he gets into that, he says, listen, there's a couple things here. Number one, the place that's qualified.
Honor thy father, honor thy mother. This is very powerful because heaven.
Yeah, but he got, so all the 10 are already in heaven. Then he just brought them down to the earth.
Yes.
People act like the 10 originated in the earth. No, they were already in heaven. He just brought them down with his signature. So remember, where did the 10 come from? It originated from the Shahamim. So that means it's there. Then he wrote it in stone. Right? And then he went over two things. He brings back up his name. The only place that I'm demanding this from is not everybody.
Right.
Okay? Let's get this straight. This is where the entire religious world, religious world say, "Oh, he's come to get it."
He said, "Go back and talk to Jacob."
No, he said, "Go back and talk to Jacob and the children of Israel." Okay, there's other people on the planet, but these rule was for the sons of YAHUAH only at this time, right? And the Gentiles was whosoever would believe. That's the Gentiles today made it seem like they were the ones that are his chosen. No, you're the ones that got invited, but it wasn't spoken to you. It was spoken to Jacob. You got to hold on to this, you got. And so since it was spoken to Jacob and his seed, Yahusha turns back, YAHUAH says, and to Aaron, to Moshe, Moses, and they begin to go, okay, wherever he causes his name to be remembered. Okay, wait a minute. Remember, that means I knew it before to order to remember. It can't be new. Only way it's going to be new is that if a Gentile's getting it. But those that will remember are the sons and daughters of YAHUAH. So did you remember? So now that you remember, don't let them put you in this building since you remember now. Because if it has steps and they chiseled it from all these things, I ain't do that. That's not my temple. That's not the temple. That's not my altar. That's not those things. So Yeshua comes and shows up in 23, and this is what he's talking about. This is the parable. The parable is based on Exodus 20. That's the parable.
That is the parable.
So now he said, these things that should have been done. You should have been
already doing these.
You should be tithing. Where? In the place where you remember.
That's right.
That was the clue.
And was you remembering?
His name. Yeah.
Are you remembering any name in those buildings?
Yeah.
His name ain't there.
His name ain't there. And so wherever that was at, you should be doing that. But remember, Lucifer did his master deception, make you angry, make you want to forget about it. I don't need to do that no more. I don't need to do that no more. So you forget, and then and then you're angry. Okay.
So you're still in that position.
You're still in that position because now Lucifer has got you where you want because now you're angry, and you're going to stop doing it. And now, when you go look at Isaiah 58, the promises of Jacob's inheritance is connected
To everything.
To everything that Yeshua is talking about right here. And so the blind guides and the hip and the preachers are the ones that put the pressure so you would no longer want to do it.
Right.
When these are things you should do.
So,
you can't go honor the command, the what Yahweh said in Exodus 20 and not honor the tithe and the offering. And that's what you should already be doing. But notice, just like Yahusha, there's no pressure at all. If you don't want to, don't. There was no pressure. The thing that he demanded was those commandments. But this tithe, you should already be doing that. And you never heard Yeshua even put
a no to it.
He never put no whole 50 books behind it.
That's right.
He didn't make it that way. Because he's showing that if you do the first commandments to honor his name, you would have to do it. Because you can't honor his name and not want to, because it's inside you to do it. You can't honor, you can't learn, you can't have a desire to seek out. When is the Shabbat? When's the day of rest? You can't seek that out and not tithe or give. It doesn't go together. You cannot honor your mom and dad. You cannot go through those things and not want to do it. He already knows that. Otherwise, you think y'all forgot it and left it out? No, he wrote down the main ones because the main ones activate everything else that honors him.
That's right.
So the Pharisees came and said, no, we don't need to do all that. You just guys need to follow our way, walk into the front, do all these things. And then as the Pharisees and the Sadducees got to going, they created that system, and Constantine created that system. Y'all said, I got to find a way to let that system go strong enough so that when I do pull them out, they can look in hindsight and go, I can see it. So that's the beauty of the eyes opening, is that you can look in hindsight and go, oh, I see it.
Now it makes sense when the alabaster box, it wasn't a set time of season, it's when it hit her and she went and she brought.
Yeah.
We getting this ritual. So they got us in a ritual
right.
on Sunday only, Wednesday only time giving, right. or first fruits. But right. those rituals they do is their rituals. But when you see set in stone the things that you should be doing, you automatically get into the position when that name sets in stone in your temple, the name of Yahuwah sets in stone. As we were saying, you automatically do what was said to do. You automatically. But the main pieces is that you first got to do what was instructed. You can't go off of uninstructed and do your thing and then say, y'all was right there. That's what Yeshua is saying. Y'all doing all these things and you're not even following what was instructed first, but you're doing all these things. You Pharisees, Sadducees, doing all these things, using a name that ain't even supposed to be using. You tithing, you're giving it, you're doing all these things based on what you want these people to do. No instructions of teaching of what the commands were about, the feast and all those things about honoring. No, everything is based on flesh.
For what you want.
For what
and so
you
that's
want.
what we hear. Because remember, you go to, and I'm guilty of this, you go and it you know, like I like what Paul said, that one statement he says about, owe no man nothing but to love them. Or, when they try to hold him guilty, and that's the only time that he actually stood up and he said, well, I don't remember that guy. Wherever you talking about, he gone, right? But when you're blind and you're blind and you do these things, what gives you the liberation is knowing that Yahuwah speaks to you, because you know that wasn't really your first intention and decision anyway, is what you were born into. So everybody in the United States, you're born into this religious system. And there's no way you can escape unless you have the heart to believe and YAHUAH breathes on you. And what does he do? I will cause you to remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when he does that, that is the place or that area or that scenario is where they would come up annually, if you will.
Well, you
Or
already, yeah.
They would gather, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that, and they would honor. And they weren't like. And remember, it was their farmland. It was their cattle. It was their stuff. And then man turned that into money, and that was not so. Because if y'all wanted money, he would have said the gold and the silver at the time. Mm-hmm. But then later on, then at certain times of the year, they would bring those gifts, but the children of Jacob would do right with it. And that's what we see in the book of Acts. They did right with the gold and silver.
Right.
And they did right with the gold and silver. So we see that. But in today's...
Well, yeah, because if you couldn't get to the feast and be a part of the feast, you could send the gold and the silver.
Right.
But you got to understand and read it to understand what it's. So when you sit back, you could just go back to Abraham when Abraham did what he did with Melchizedek. That wasn't something that Abraham was first time doing. Abraham, if it was a first time thing for Abraham, it wouldn't have been so nonchalant.
Right. He was just like,
he ran into him. So,
but like, just make sure you get that.
Yeah.
But
so you know it was something that was
because
done.
Yah wants his children
Right.
to have the abundance. But the buildings is taking the abundance, and they got a language for you to do that, so that you talking about help them go do that. And there's nothing in the scripture that does that, because the children of YAHUAH is supposed to have the abundance, right? Every family that has remembered the name, even watching, the abundance is supposed to be there. There should never be more abundance anywhere else besides in your place when you are supposed to be receiving the inheritance of Jacob. I just cannot consume or believe that the wealthiest person is supposed to be the preacher.
No.
But in every case in America, and this is what we see.
The only reason why, though, honey, the only reason why is the case because the people are reading a book that will never expose to them clarity. And another reason why is when you don't seek to search, to find, to understand.
So the laziness
how to. So now I'm talking to those that know how to and still don't do what is instructed and clarity, that stifles on how you function in Jacob's receiving of the blessing.
Right.
Because now you are held accountable at a different standard.
Think about Jacob. Yeah. Think about that when he says, I'll give you the inheritance.
Yeah, how you going to get it?
How you going to get it? He's saying, I'm going to give you the inheritance, and he uses his name for that, and he uses the day of rest for that. And so you got to literally go out and seek to figure out how that works. And then you got to turn around and honor him. He didn't say, the way that the Christian church has it today is not the way it's supposed to be done.
That's one of the spiritual breakings that you got to break.
Yeah, you got to break that because you're angry and you're disappointed.
Not only that, but that spiritual breaking of how they used it, and then you trying to still have that function
in your head.
Yeah, so you got to shake that off, and now you got to position your hearing to hear on how to, because now you're in a place where you are growing in Yah. So now you really, to get to the point, you really got to follow step by step by step by step, step by step by step by step, because you are learning. You got to go back to learning, because we have been so spiritually contaminated that we have to go back and learn. And how you learn is step by step, step by step. So just like an example, how do I know when the day of feast is? I had to go study it out, and I had to realize I got to go look at the moon. I got to study the moon. Even though they're taught that if you do that, you're a moon worshiper. Well, you know why they tell you that? Because they don't want you in a position to be an heir of Jacob.
Because once you, and that's, and again,
yes,
we're going to talk about that too, because there is, it's not a 29-day cycle.
Right.
It's a 40-day cycle.
Right.
It's every 40 days. And so, but you have to understand that you can't get away from some of the basics. Notice what he emphasizes, and notice what's not going. See, a lot of people are used to being punched and punched and punched and punched. You got to tithe, you got to give, you got to tithe when you give. And then now, when you go into your father's letter, you can't do that.
That's right.
I can't do that. So I'm not going to be punching and punching and punching and punching, and I'm not bringing this up because Yeshua didn't do it.
Right. What I'm punching is, you got to study.
You got to study.
And to understand, because what was put in writing after our ancestors agreed, I got to go study it out because they agreed to something that YAHUAH didn't put in writing.
Didn't put in writing on something they agreed to. That's important. That's important.
Yeah.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
I like the way you said that. You said I got to go and look at what my ancestors agreed to, because we are accountable to what they agreed to.
That's right.
And what they agreed to was those, what we call these 10. But y'all could have wrote 30.
Right. But
y'all could have wrote 300.
Right.
The foundation to experiencing Jacob's blessing that he promised is based on those 10.
That's right.
And the other stuff you guys should already be doing.
Right.
So, but the other stuff doesn't need to be preached at.
Right.
Right?
It's automatic.
It's an automatic reflex. Now, if you're not doing it and you're aware of it, that's the problem. Because now, don't complain.
That's right.
Because remember, you're still dealing with an accuser. You're still dealing with Lucifer that says, "Oh, okay, you went to the name, but look what you're dealing with now. You still sick, still on medicine, still doing that, still this, but you YAHUAHing it because you're avoiding where you're hurt at. And we're mad at.
Yeah.
You watching the preacher still on, and then the technology get to you because you're seeing it happen.
Right. And
so all I'm saying,
you gotta let that go.
You gotta let that go. So all thing I'm saying is that we need to move on. So let's continue to go. I want to show you these next four verses, guys. Hold on just a second. If you're with us, stay right there. Let us get through this right now. Again, no, we can't.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I want to go through these next few verses. Again, if you're watching for the very first time, Kim and I have been talking about the commandments of YAHUAH out of the book of Exodus chapter 20. We also looked at Isaiah 58, where YAHUAH talks about, the day of rest. And so we opened that up months ago about this word Shabbat, and we can see it, and we broke that word down, and then we even looked at the cycles, and we've been studying the cycles between the moons and the sun, and we realized that it was 40 days. Before the actual seventh day. We saw the seventh day. It wasn't every Saturday. That didn't exist. And Yahusha and YAHUAH, our Father, never said every Saturday as a day of rest. He said the seventh day. He's very specific. And he does that based on the 40-day cycle, not a 29-day calendar, and not every single Saturday. Every single Saturday ends up to be toiling in a 29-day calendar, because the word in Latin for 29 means to labor. Yeah. And every time the Shabbat happens, it's behind an American holiday around the same time. So they intentionally did that as well. And so to look at what our Father said is what we're talking about. Yes. We're going to now go to Matthew 24. We're going to look at the 23, and we're going to look at these four verses here that explain how, YAHUAH is just cracking them, and he doesn't give up. Right. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're at verse, where are we at? Verse 24.
You ready?
Yes. Okay. He says, blind guides. Now watch how he talks to him. Straining out a gnat and swallowing a camel. I mean, these are people that are just horrible. He says, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees. He calls them again. hypocrites, because you clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside they're filled with plunder and disobedience. He's talking about the current church that they call church. Remember, that's what he's talking about. Next verse, blind Pharisees. Okay, those ones that are, remember there's a difference between a Pharisee and a Sadducee, but I liked how he just does this. He's going to put them both in the same categories. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup in the dish, which they're not going to do, so that the outside of them becomes clean too. They're not going to do that. They're not going to make it right. What he meant by clean is give them the right language. The stuff you give them is not right. Verse 27, woe to you. Now, I mentioned the scribes, because remember, they're the writers. Again, calls them hypocrites. Why? They're sitting right there in front of them. He goes, because you are like whitewashed tombs, and outwardly, indeed, look well. But inside, you're filled with dead man's bones and uncleanness.
So he's basically describing a tombstone where you put a body in back
Yeah,
then.
in tombstone where you're putting the body at. And so because of how they wrote inside of their writings, how they hide it today. Rome's got this thing, and they don't want nobody to know. They don't want the sons of Yahuwah finding out, so they can still empower all the country and all that. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter what government does anything, because the word is still fine authority, and the sixth trump gonna come, and the seventh trump coming anyway. But he's saying here that he called the scribes. He added the scribes in that conversation because outwardly they look well. So, they look well outside, but inside they fill with dead man's bones.
Yeah.
Right? Because they, remember, kill, steal, and destroy. They write the materials for people to read with death. And he's telling them, I know what you're doing. Now, they're still sitting there, and the other group said, girl, did you hear? Man, did you hear what he just said about them? we don't be talking about them. We don't want to be, bro. And then somebody, you can imagine there's always a Reggie in the crowd. Man, ain't that who you hang out with over there? Ain't that? Hey, that's the dude over there. Ain't that dude? He's the one over there talking about he got the, he writing stuff for it. Okay. Right. Verse 28. He goes, so you too outwardly indeed appear obedient to men. Come to church every Sunday. But inside you're filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. So now you're filled with two things. He named these two things, and it's very important that we understand these two things. He said you're filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. Now, why this word lawlessness is so important, and you're going to keep seeing this when Yahusha teaches, because that first commandment about his name, it shows up. Now remember, YAHUAH, okay, means breath, right? Breath of life. And Yahusha means salvation has come from the breath. Remember that. So what is the thing that happens at the seventh trump? Is when they walk up to him and said, they use a different name. They say, Lord, Lord. They use a Bel name. And he says, I've done these things in your name. I cast out devils in your name. And he says to them, get away from me. I don't know you. Get away from me. And he tells them, because you practice lawlessness. Now, what is lawlessness? Lawlessness is the finger of YAHUAH. That's law. And you practice it less. Lawlessness. You avoided the finger and signature of YAHUAH.
His finger. His
writing.
His physical.
When he wrote, it became law.
Yes.
He can't take his hand, like you look at when his signature, like when it's in stone.
That's so good, because
when it's in stone,
that's why he said what he said.
you cannot. It doesn't go away.
Right. That's why he had to have Moses ask them first.
He had to ask them,
because he knew when he put his head.
when they came back with a response.
Yes.
And he put his signature down
Yes.
because he is Elohim. Because he's the creator, he has to be bound by what he writes.
That's right.
So whoever violates that, he can't go against it.
That's right.
Even if you have good intentions,
That's right.
he has to cause you to perish if you avoid Yahuwah.
That's right.
If you avoid that name,
Yes.
he can't do nothing. Why? Because he signed the document.
That's right. And that's why it's important to understand what your ancestors.
Made the oath and made the promise to.
That's right. And understand that.
And then those people that hate their parents, he's bound to deal with you on
That's
that.
right. Bound.
He can't. He even if he doesn't want to do it,
That's right.
and then he can't get you the inheritance until you come away from or come out to the point that you can have your day of rest. He's bound by it, not because he doesn't feel good about it. He doesn't want. He can't do anything about it because it's law.
That's right.
And when he said to them, those preachers, they were practicing lawlessness. They were not using anything that he wrote. They avoided it and taught the commandments of men. And they created buildings that they chiseled out, created stairs to it, made people come in that building and offer the tithe and offer the offering, offer their prayers.
Took them out of a position of hearing Yah
Hearing Yahuwah
to now got to go through an individual to hear.
to hear, and I got to go to an individual's location to get blessed.
Yes.
And then what they did is that they
Yeah.
brought them in and they make them worship Baal. And they're happy worshiping Baal. And they want you to worship Baal. And they hear a message like this and they think it's, they want to continue worship Baal. And they'll say, oh, that's not there and that's not there. But they're worshiping Baal. And guess what? Whatever they say against it, understand this. They can't hear. Not they don't need to hear me.
No.
Yahuwah said, I will cause them to remember.
Yeah. That's the breath that he's going to.
That's the breath.
Yes.
So if they were introduced to Jesus,
They took
that
all
was,
that.
watch this. You were introduced to Jesus.
Yes.
You didn't remember Jesus.
That's right. That's so good. Oh, sorry.
You were introduced to Jesus, and then you took Jesus' name, you took God's name, you took the Lord's name, and you built you something with chisels. Put stairs up it. Then you made everybody worse than you. You were introduced to Jesus. But you can't be introduced to Yahuwah. No. You can only remember him. And he doesn't do that where stairs are at.
That's so good.
Ain't nobody knowing who Yahuwah is where there's stairs and chisels. People remembering in groups wherever he's at in the world, and then those people are honoring. There's a source of, like when in Acts is beautiful because there was no altars there.
Right.
The men just sold it and came and laid it at the apostles' feet. And notice there wasn't all this big commotion and there wasn't all these other things that took place. They just continued to go places to spread the word. But Pharisees and Sadducees created a system out of that. And Yeshua, that's what he came down here to deal with that. Okay. All right, guys, let's continue to go. All right. Are you guys getting anything out of this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now let's go to verse. And so he deals with the Pharisees in verse 26, right?
You're on going into 29.
Okay. And then now,
You said,
okay, verse 29. Now let's keep going. And he says, woe to you. Again, how many times is he going to say this? Scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the obedient. You know, they always want to say this person was a good person. Okay. All right. You know, again, he's showing you what's happening in modern day church. And say, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would have not taken part with them in the blood of the prophets. And that's something. Well, if I lived back in those days, like they would say things like, if I lived back there during, the time of Noah, I wouldn't have done that. Right. I wouldn't have done that. And Sodom and Gomorrah, right? They said, we wouldn't have done that. But today they call it friends with benefits. Right. It's just a different word.
Just a different word. They play on words. Yeah, exactly. They play
friends
on
with benefits. That's what it's called today. Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah. And then that was good. I like that one. Pat my back. Pat my back. Pat my back. Okay. All right. Then, or they would say, they would have tithed. They would compare themselves to doing everything that they would have done. And that's what he's giving you, the characteristics of these individuals. They act like they would have done the same thing that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob would have done. And that's a lie. Verse 31, he goes, thus you bear witness against yourselves that you are the sons of those who did murder the prophets. Ooh. Basically, you're your father, the devil. And you fill up the measure of your fathers. I mean, you basically, you do everything that they do at the highest level. Verse 33. Now, here's where he gets them. Look at this. Look at this. He says, serpents, brood of adders. Okay, you guys see that? Look at that right there. In other words, you are the brood of adders. You're the offspring of a serpent. Now, a serpent is not just a serpent is someone that inherently spews poison. And now, remember a serpent, when it spews poison, it hits the eyes and it blinds. And it's just saying, he's saying the same thing that he said up above, but he's making it more penetratable. Making a point because the students are there.
Every time you talk about it, he get madder and madder.
Yeah, that's what he's getting madder and madder. So he said, first you're blind guys. Yeah. Your blind guys are the same thing as the word serpent. Okay. And then now he's ticked off here. And he says, you blind guys. And now watch what he says here to these kind of preachers that do this. He says, how would you escape the judgment of basically, this judgment? How are you going to escape this judgment?
Because I already know you can't.
Yeah. He goes, how? He's asking the question. He goes, because of this. Now, because of what? Everything we described. He goes, see, I send you prophets. I send you prophets and a wise man and scholars. Some of them you shall kill and impale, and some of them you shall flog in your assemblies and persecute from city to city. So basically, you'll come and you'll talk crap about them in front of everybody.
We see that all the time.
We see that all the time. I mean, I get people to talk crap about me. I mean, I'm used to that. And in verse 35, so that you should come and come all the obedient bloodshed of the earth and from the blood of the obedient. And this is what he's talking about, between those who murdered between the altar and or the temple and altar. And so he's just basically saying that, when somebody is chosen by him, that he causes them to remember the name. Next thing you know, people are going to be talking smack about them. It's no different than me posting some stuff that you won't say you like, but you'll find one of the posts to talk crap about. Same thing.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what's happening today in the digital world. And so we do see this. Let me go ahead and read the rest of this, guys, and we're going to let you guys go, okay? Stay right there with us real quick. And he says, verse 36, truly I say to you, all this shall come upon this generation, referring to all of us today. He says, Jerusalem, Jerusalem. He goes, and again, this is the people, Jerusalem. This is the people that are in the land. He's talking about the land. He's not talking about the seed of Jacob, okay? The seed of Jacob, okay? He says, killing the prophets and stoning those who are sent to her. He goes, how often I wish to gather your children together, then way a hen gathers her chickens under her wings, but you would not. In other words, how he'd want to gather them. But how can he when they did the chiseling?
When you did all your
You did all your dirt, and you do everything else wrong. And then he says, see, your house is left to laid waste. For I say to you, from now on, you shall by no means see me. Until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah.
So he's back to the name. Until you know my name.
Yeah, until you know my name,
you will never see me.
You ain't going to see nothing about me.
So that explains again. That them churches are dead. You remember they used to quote about them dead churches. Well, them churches down there are dead.
well, even the ones that got their popular gospel artists, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Because he says he is not going to even show up.
That's what it says. That's what it says.
Until somebody can
no, it says until you say. So it's individual.
Yeah, until you say.
Yeah, so it's the individual.
Yeah, until you say favored is the person that is coming
in the name of Yahuwah.
In the name of Yahuwah.
And they will never
and notice this, he didn't say Yahusha.
No,
he said why? Because the Father's name is what gave Yahusha's name the power.
That's right.
So the power comes from Yahuwah. That's why he says, in that day, ask me nothing, but go to the Father in my name, and he'll give you whatever you want. And so what we're seeing in the summary, okay, I don't need you guys, as you're hearing this, because we're about a minute behind it in delay, and I'm going to keep talking as I make the statement. I want you to come in and put something in here that I can read that you remember his name. Who remembers? Who remembers? That's what's important. Not who's just like oh yeah, I learned it. No, did you remember? Do you remember his name? And so what we see in Matthew 23 is Yahusha listening to them in the beginning, spreading them apart, saying, okay, listen guys, hey, all the students, y'all sit over here and sit behind me. And I'm gonna talk to these Sadducees and Pharisees. And he called them hypocrite every few seconds. Now, why didn't they get up and walk away? Because usually a hypocrite will sit there and watch your page.
Exactly.
Right? You listen and listen.
Pharisees
and listen.
will sit and watch your page.
Pharisees will sit there and watch it, and they watch every post. And then they'll find out the one day that one right there. I'm gonna talk crap right there. Yeah. That's what they do. Right?
And after he did all of that talking, now he became an enemy, and that's why he was hung from a tree.
Yeah, he's hung from a tree.
He became, those very words stirred them up to hate him more.
To hate him more. And so when what religious people do, they think you are an atheist. You think that you have went away from their God, if you will, that you're lost. And I don't believe in that. Yeah. I don't believe in anything of that, bro. I don't believe in that. You are lost and blah, blah, blah. And they want you to fight you. They want you to feel guilty. Listen, I'm like this. If you don't want to believe in Yahuwah, hey, more power to you. I actually don't even have a comment. I don't have a comment after that. But the way that Yahusha was dealing with 23, because that was another subject, but the way that he was dealing with this, it explains Exodus 20. It explains it.
Yeah, because when you the 23, the 23, it was exposing their tactics towards the people.
Their tactics towards the people.
Right.
And then Isaiah 58, he gave the warning. He said, hey, listen, if they honored this day, I will give them the inheritance of Jacob. But they got to leave they can't be in the flesh. They can't do these things. They can't. So he describes the day of rest in Isaiah 58. Then when we get to Exodus 19 and 20, it's more than just, quote unquote, while man comes up with 10 commandments, because he never said 10 commandments.
He just listing what you should not be doing.
He should listing what you shouldn't.
So that's why I never go in order, because I ain't trying to remember 1, 2, 3. I just remember. I need to remember.
The way I read it, I think there's more than 10, but the way he wrote it,
Yeah.
You know, so it's more than 10, but
It's commandments.
commandments
He gave commandments
with his finger.
with his finger.
With his finger. These were the only ones that he gave with his finger.
Yeah, and
this
is what,
became law.
and this is what we got to understand, because this was the agreement that our forefathers,
Listen to that, guys.
our
Listen to that.
forefathers have agreed to, that we been robbed from, which my father's father was robbed from.
Yeah,
his
and
father's
my-
father.
and my father-
Yeah.
I couldn't
So
get
we
it.
got to go back, because we wasn't taught
Because
what the agreement was.
Right. So I'm gonna teach my kids.
Yeah.
You gotta teach the agreement. It was never. Y'all kept telling us to go in the other room. Go in the wrong room. This grown folks talk. Right?
Right.
And so we have to teach our children's children that the agreement that our parents had required these things in order for us to have prosperous homes, prosperous family, non-sick families, the blessing to get up on it. Because we don't do these things.
That's right.
Them jokers outside, them what do you call it? Them Gentiles and them Canaanites are gonna eat your tail alive because you have no protection.
That's right.
And then they must sit among themselves and talk about these laws, if you will. And then that's why on that 7th day, every 40 days, they hang out with they there to talk about not business. It's like I have a phone. My phone gets shut off. Just the business side, it's done. I'm over. That's it. We already, Kim cooked before the day before. Like, he doesn't want any focus on anything else. He doesn't want no focus on any type of work. Period. Now, if you bang your toe on the ground, you got to go to the hospital. That's different. Okay? But at general work, because he doesn't want any interaction with Gentiles on that day.
No, that's a good
Gentiles,
one. No interaction with the Gentile Canaanites.
Yeah, on that day. That's it. That's what he's trying.
Just separate yourself.
Separate yourself from the Canaanites.
Canaanites.
And yeah, just remove yourself from that. And then after that, if you happen to be in a place where you remembered, then you find a way, and he's not going to tell you how. You got to seek him where you tithe, and that's
where you tithe, and the name where my name is at.
Yeah.
Because that's the key.
Because if we didn't have this technology,
Yeah.
And we had no technology, we had to go way back.
Well, you can't even use that because they didn't have technology then either.
Yeah, they didn't have technology, and we got to go way back because look at what the Tartarians built.
Yeah.
You know,
so we can't use that.
We can't
excuse.
technology stuff, but if you go back, they were meeting like at a park. I guarantee they didn't meet every like what they say
Because of walking distance.
for walking distance and everything. But there was times where the dad would come up, the mom would come up and say, you know, this is what I want to do. It was not like the way that they put it on a billing cycle like they do it today.
Yeah. No. Because they take you out of a hearing cycle.
They take you out of hearing cycle.
Now
That's important.
Yeah.
The hearing cycle, I'm telling you, is a 40-day window. Y'all, we're going to get into that more and more. You're going to see that come. And so this is Matthew 23. Again, you saw it for yourself. Yahusha had his student behind him. He was talking in front of him to the scribes and Pharisees, and he kept, hypocrites, 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 hypocrites. Then he got mad and said, serpent.
Yeah, you daggone.
Doggone serpent. He said, blind leaders, blind leaders. Then he said, serpent.
He's like, because
He's thinking about it.
It's like,
doggone. And it's because they took the system and they put it in bondage and put the people in bondage. And that's where we're at. And so you have to understand that that you gotta get to a place where some of the things that you should be doing, it should be automatic from the inside of you, and nobody should tell you how to do it. It's like, why should somebody tell you to love your grandkids?
right.
How can that be taught? how can love really be taught? And that's why Yeshua didn't pay attention to the trying to teach the tithe, because it has to originate out of a vessel that loves. The commandments is this way I deal with you because you in the flesh. You got to learn how to honor this way, and you need to keep that. That's your moral compass. You do that, you're automatically going to do this. You're automatically going to do that. So the clue that you're doing those, side effect would be, honor. And that's it. Because the side effect would be loving your father, loving your children. That's the side effect. You can't teach that. You can say this is what happens, but you can't really inherently teach that. And with Baal worship, they pound you on the head with it. So that's it.
That's it.
We're done for today. I want to. I'm seeing you guys wrote some things in here, and let me see. I'm gonna go over a couple of these. All right. Start from the top here. What do we got here? All right. Dr. Rosetta says, wait a minute. So you have to chisel to make a church. So is that one of the things y'all was speaking about? Let's talk about this thing. Yes, that was definitely one of the things he was talking about. Okay. All right. And all right, Steph, thanks for the compliment there. Oh no, not like you, Mark. He says you putting your feet in them greens. Yeah, she liked them greens. I do, but I tell you, I put 2 feet in them and the toes. Dr. Zeta put pass the curse down from generation to generation. That's how lies work, and keep going until you step away and to learn the truth. Yeah, I think, when you, and I know what she's saying, but just for the sake of people that's hearing pass down the curse. Okay, what that really means is you pass it down by shutting up. Like, I don't say nothing to you, so instantly, a lack of knowledge, no information, now they are subject to Lucifer's plans. Okay? Lucifer's plans. And then inside Lucifer's plans is where their mouth builds their own curse. Starts cursing their own life. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? All right. You got, once they chisel, Dr. Zed says the building went into the building, the fake worship, changed the names. They forgot about YAHUAH and his commandments. That's right. All right. All right. Allie, you wrote down here, wow, nothing we did under that JC name didn't profit me anything. You want to say something about that? Nothing under that name, JC, it didn't profit me anything. No, it profited me a lot.
Nothing under that name profited you anything.
Yeah. But here's what profited me. Remember, what profit a man who gains the whole world loses his soul? Everything that we can teach now is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. So that
I think she's speaking on
money,
based on
monetary,
the customs of rituals. Everything in ritual you did didn't profit you anything, and that's correct. It didn't profit you anything because you didn't have we were on an altar built with chisels. I'm guilty, and he clearly stated, "Don't take up a chisel and do a daggone thing with it." Because I'm going to direct how my altar is. I'm going to direct.
And just that right there.
Yeah.
Now again.
So in that part of it, Yeah, and that's why it's important. That's why I keep repeating. It's important to go study what the agreement was that our ancestors, our forefathers, what they agreed to. What did they? our ancestors agreed to what YAHUAH discussed with Moses.
That's in chapter 19.
That is one of the most important things to understand.
What the agreement was? What was the agreement?
We get whooped from all these generations because...
And he put the agreement right there. He said, this is why you are struggling. This is why you sick. This is why. And Satan is a legalist. He'll hold you to that contract whether you know it or not.
Because he wants to be like. But YAHUAH, he can't even go against what he wrote. He can't even
because if he would have never wrote, he literally
brought it out of heaven. He brought it out of heaven. That's why he asked go talk to them and explain to them. Because when I bring this thing out of heaven and I put it on my finger in there and I sign off on it, there's nothing they could do. They cannot go back on what they agreed to. I don't care how they didn't understand. I don't care. He said, I have no control after I put my finger.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, good. I can't. You gotta let me say something.
Say it, honey. You ain't said nothing yet.
Okay, wait a minute. This is why
I'm waiting you to say something.
This is why Abraham, he was a friend. This is why Yah could not deal with anybody he didn't write something about. See, Abraham didn't have a signature. He only had a spoken word.
In an offering. He had the spoken word, but then Abraham went and did an offering off of that spoken word, which then made that thing turn that thing right into a because the action. Abraham knew how to activate that thing.
He knew how to activate it, and he didn't even have the law.
Right.
He could activate heaven. Y'all see this? Heaven can be activated.
That's why it's important to understand how your forefathers were. I understand more and more.
But Abraham knew it through Seth.
That's right.
Seth knew it through who? Eve.
And how did Eve?
It was Eve.
Yes, right. Eve,
the woman.
Because after what happened to her, that relationship between her and Yah, I know she worked that out.
Yeah, but she was the one.
Yeah, she was the one.
While Ben Adam was doing his thing, she was the one to teach his son Seth how to honor Yahuwah.
That's right.
That's why when Seth learned it in the Jubilees, the book of Jubilees, here's what it says: when Seth learned to honor Yahuwah, Seth was the first man to receive the language of Yahuwah. He was the first man to understand how to write the language of Yahuwah. It came from him. So he was the first one to put something in writing.
Glory be to Yah.
Because he learned how to honor through Eve.
That's right.
That's what Satan hated. That's why Cain slew Abel for the offering. Then Abraham didn't need the law.
Cain was consumed out of.
He was consumed
He was conceived out of hatred.
Yeah, but he was consumed out of that. But so when Abraham got to Abraham didn't need nothing in writing. His character was based on honor principles.
That's right. Oh, that's some good stuff.
His character outweighed. He didn't even have knowledge of sin and didn't sin. That's crazy.
That's right.
Just because of what was written. And this is why Melchizedek came and saw him. This is where we see this at. This is where they said that was YAHUAH or Yahusha. They said that was Seth. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is that he had a principle. That principle between him and Moses left. And they got rid of it again. And so now, y'all's like, I need somebody to agree. In fact, I'm going to let y'all just tell me what you want. And I'm going to put a law into place that I have to do without no reservations. Because anybody that operated in lawlessness during the time of Abraham, y'all's love for them, it got passed. They got a pass. They got a window of pass. Okay, y'all slept all together. You slept with your daughter. You did this. You did all that. He didn't even say nothing about all that. He didn't call it anything, except when they started getting crazy.
He
with
never
the
brought nothing.
men to men. That's when they got right.
Nothing law or
Yeah,
legally
there was no
out of heaven concerning that.
So his grace,
That's right. That's me.
and his mercy
That's right.
that he had, he gave it to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
But then when
But Jacob got a piece of it.
Yeah.
So when it got to Jacob, this is where it came in at. Because Jacob's seed had a little bit too much of that. So now y'all said, bring them boys, put them at my feet, and tell me what they want to come back to me and tell me what they're willing to do. And they did that.
Do they agree to it?
Do they agree to that? And okay, I'll be back. Put them out the mountain so they can see me write these.
Right.
And they saw him write it. And that's what scared the hell out of them. They saw that, and they saw his voice do that. Not the finger of Yah is the voice of Yah. So the Yahuwah's voice is his finger.
Yeah.
So he writes it. That's why he said, I will write it on the table of your hearts. That's what he's talking about. So when he wrote it, he wrote the standard. Lucifer knew that, came back, and got everybody to follow a false deity. With their own ways, with their own systems. And when Yeshua showed up, he put all these people behind him and said, listen, let me talk to these fools right here. You hypocrites. Then they went from hypocrites to blind guys to serpents.
To almost an MF.
Yeah. And at the end, he says, I did all of this. I did all this and said all this. But the most important person is whoever comes
Yes.
in the name of YAHUAH. There's favor with that person. And you know what's crazy, babe? You know what's crazy? And we gotta hurry up. You know what's crazy? Is that you can't pimp Yahusha's name. You can't do the $50 offering on Yahusha's name. You can't pimp the name YAHUAH. But Yeshua's name, Jesus' name welcomes it just, you can do it with that. We hear it today. Okay, let me read the last of these guys. I gotta go. We're gonna give us 3 more minutes, please. Stay right there. We got here.
We're down.
Let me see. Hold on. Chose the building, the commandments, making sense. Okay, Ali, because we just read Ali's. It didn't profit her anything. Let me see here. Yeah, Dr. Rosette says they took them out of the law. And now they're living in a weekly ceremony. Woo, that's pretty good. All right. I like that. Adrian put, I'm getting my life back. Yeah, okay.
And then this is where you ask the question about remembering the name.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah, before that, Dr. Rosette said, I've sat in the building where the anointing was gone, is sick and a lonely feeling. And you know what? That presence is Lucifer's presence, by the way.
Yeah.
Because if his name's not there, it's not, that anointing, they call anointing, that's Lucifer's presence. Because how do you know what the anointing is if his name was never in the building?
Right.
You don't know, you can't recognize.
Yeah, it's not even called an anointing. It's called the Ruach.
Yeah, the Ruach. So, but the one that they said the anointing is.
I know. That's what I said. See how they get itself.
So
the play of words.
Yeah, play of words. So that anointing was not Yahuwah's.
It was Lucifer the whole
It was Lucifer the whole time. The whole time. The presence you feel and all that, you can never point it
to Yahuwah.
to Yahuwah because his name was never remembered. Okay, let's keep on going. And that's it. And that's it. Well, you guys hang in there. This was a good teaching today. Because our Father taught us, we learned strictly from his, especially Yahusha. He gave us something today. Yahusha taught us something today. He taught us, and it's locked in stone. He taught us how they did, how he talked to them. He taught us that at the end, it goes back to the name.
Right.
He taught us in this book, go back to the commandment. Go back to that law. That's what he said. And when you go back, he says, he said, he didn't say favors the person that comes from such and such church. He says favors the person that comes in the name of YAHUAH. He goes right back to the signature of YAHUAH. And that's what he came to fulfill. And that's where we stand. Woo-wee.
Well, my goodness, today was awesome.
Yes.
And with that, remember, if you be in the Mashiach, then are you Abraham's seed and an heir according to the promise. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
We forgot. We got announcements we got to make real
Oh,
quick.
no, I wasn't going to make it. I was going to do a commercial.
I get so much energy. I worry about cleaning out. Okay, wait a minute. Let me make this announcement real quick, y'all. Okay, before you hang up, wait, hold on. Okay, the announcements is that we got the new mailing address.
Yeah, I was going to put it up, but you said.
Okay, so she's going to put that up. What are you doing?
No, go ahead. Keep talking.
New mailing address. Okay. In December, at the beginning of next month, we're not close. We are going to chill. We're not waiting because our New Year's doesn't start until March, by the way.
I'm going to do.
Okay. And you're looking at the channel and the information here. If you just continue to look at that, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to keep talking here. Just during the announcements here. So during December, all through that month is closed. And this is a good time just for, and again, I'm referring to current work schedules, but it's not the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year does not begin until spring. So it's definitely on the beginning of the year, but we just chose this month here. And like I said, we probably choose about 2 to 3 times a year to do that, where we can back up a little bit and get refreshed versus coming on here every single week, guys. We don't need to do that. So December, we're going to do that. And we'll come in and probably do another month, right before spring. And then, but yeah, it's periodically. It's not set. It's not ritual. Yeah, it's just, but December, we're going to be closed. Thirdly,
I just posted it. I posted it.
Oh, okay. And then, and by the way, yeah, the thing that you saw on the screen was the information that you could write down and so forth. And then we're going to change some of the media files. I guess you guys hear, there's a little God word in some of that worship that you guys hear. Yeah. And so we'll change that around too. Okay? All right, guys. Now that's it. That's it. So we're done. Can't wait to see you guys next week. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but just be here. All right?
We love you guys. See you. Bye-bye.
There's no